Okay, it's now 1 o'clock. I'll call our March 7th, 2022 meeting in order. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance.
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we're going to start today's meeting with Cindy Doolittle for a discussion on the election stipend.
Good afternoon. I'm going to go ahead and give you one that I highlighted.
Thank you.
These are services that Microvote, our vendor for the election. The amount that they charge us per election. There's database creation. There's election day support, the public test, poll pad encoding. And if you look at the bottom, the total for all that for both elections is $25,940. The election day support is $2,400 per election. So as you can see, that's quite a bit for Microvote to have a representative at the county the whole day. In the past, we have had some good election day support. In the past, we've also had some good ones. However, they don't have enough employees at Microvote. So what they do is they advertise a couple weeks, a month before the election, and they get people like for a quick training, and then they come to the county. So again, sometimes when you're busy on election day and you're trying to, tabulate votes, or if you need help at the precincts or whatever, sometimes we know more than what they actually know. So with that, we were trying to the election board, we had a meeting, we were trying to come up with a way to save the $2,400 for election day support. And Jessica has agreed that even though she's there all day, she's the supervisor, she has a lot of other responsibilities. But at the end of the day, when more technical things arise, or when we're tabulating the votes, or we need to do things with the computer, she's willing to do that. But to be fair, the election board would like to give her a stipend of $750 per election. I do have that in my money in my budget under my clerical. It was just a way to be able to save money and, not have good service at the same time.
So, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, and, this election, it's going to be busy, but it's not like a presidential election. Okay, next year is going to be the city election. So it's going to be only a few precincts. So the election board said we would revisit it, and maybe it wouldn't be $750. Now, if it was a presidential, it might be more. But for this election, we would like to pay her $750 per the primary and $750 for the general election.
So I guess my question was, so no matter what, so is that in state statute that there has to be election day support? I'm just,
Oh,
or
no.
what? Okay.
No, there's not, but there has to be someone that knows what they're doing and knows the equipment. No, but it's also not in her job description.
So she's not tabulating any of the votes, correct? So
No, basically what the election board does is we're back in the room, and the three of us will run the votes in. She makes sure at the end of the day that the totals come out, and she does all the technical stuff. So this is what the $750 is, kind of above and beyond what her duties are in her job description.
So does that mean that she has to work extra hours?
No, I just feel like, we can, like I say, we can get election day support and pay the $2,400. I'm just trying to do something above and beyond. She's been there a long time. She has a lot of knowledge. And I don't really want to call it a bonus. You could, but it, you know, I just feel like to be fair, you know, I would like to do something, the election board would like to do something, since she does go above and beyond what her duties really are.
Was a vote taken on that?
Yes,
And was it unanimous?
yes.
Okay.
The minutes aren't done yet, but I
Okay.
do, I will have minutes.
I have no problem with it if she's gonna go above and beyond what her duties are. And I know you guys are completely overwhelmed over there, especially on election day. I have no problem with that, especially if it's gonna save us a significant amount of money. And
Now
the
she-
board voted unanimously. And then just for those who don't know, so the election board is made up of the clerk, a Democrat, and a Republican. So they all voted that this was the direction they would like to see it go in, with Jessica being there for election day support.
As far as her pay, I mean, yes, it's a holiday, we're there, we get compensated. She takes comp time, so she does get that. So again, this is something above and beyond to show that she's appreciated, to show that she's doing something that technically she really wouldn't have to do. Now, as far as database creation, machine programming, she knows how to do that too. She's done it in the past, but the election board is, we feel more comfortable having a vendor do it in case there was an error, a mistake, you know. Well, Microvote did it. You know.
So how did you come up with the $750?
We were just trying to come up with what would be fair. You know, we didn't have a reason why we came up with 750. We were just trying to think of what would be, you know, because she knows that they get paid 2,400. Of course, the whole idea of doing this, we can't pay her 2,400, but we were trying to come up with something fair to be like a bonus, a stipend.
Yeah, I'm okay with it. She's always showed really high integrity to me over the years, and I know that she does her job very, very well. And I want, especially if she's going above and beyond what her duties are, I think it's fair to compensate her, especially with unanimous vote from the election board.
So everything that we're asking for her to do in lieu of microvote would be above her it would be above her duties that are stated in her job description.
Yes, and I had went over with Jen because we had to have her refactored as a supervisor. She is a supervisor. She, you know, if there's an emergency, does state in there that if she, like one of the machines went down, she would be able to program a machine. But to program all of the machines and create everything, I feel like is almost too much liability as far as, you know, she could do it at Microvote. You know, we pay a maintenance fee to them every year, up on top of all these different things that we pay them to do. So,
And what would this mean for the salary ordinance? Would the salary ordinance need to be adjusted or?
well, it was adjusted with Jen and I went over everything because she is a supervisor and it went up, it did go up a little bit.
I mean, this additional 750 per election,
Oh,
for that to be paid out, I think that would need to be approved by council. And
No,
the
we don't.
salary ordinance would have to be changed. And unless, I don't know if it's even possible, but unless you looked at doing it like a 1099 and had her
well, that's
serve
fine.
in like a contractor capacity on that day.
Well, I'm looking at how if the county is closed and we have other county employees that are working on election day. I didn't know if it could be done that way. We have a lot of, when the county's closed, we have a lot of county employees that work. And it's, you know, ran it a little different.
I'm just not sure that we can, I mean, we might be able to make a recommendation to council, but I don't think that we can approve this. I think because it relates to payroll, I think this needs to go to council.
which I have on the agenda tomorrow for council. I just wanted to present this to you, if I could get your support on this, on why I'm doing it.
I mean, I do think it makes sense. It comes at a cost savings to the county. Instead of paying 2,400, you're paying 750. I just, also, I get a little bit nervous, right? Like, what if we do this and then all of a sudden we find that we really did need election day support during the primary and we don't have them because we paid somebody else to do it and they're overwhelmed with everything they're already doing.
Well, I've talked to other counties and some people have election day support and some people do not. It just depends on, some people have their IT people there on election day and they do all of it. Every county is a little different. You know, when I put this request in, Microvote saw it and said, I guess contacted Jessica and said, well, why aren't you doing this? You know, you can do this. Well, it's because they don't, like I say, they really don't want to have to train somebody. And it always seems like, you know, Jessica knows more than the person that was trained 2 weeks prior.
Well, I think it's, I think it's worth trying, at least in the primary election, see how it works out. I mean, I'd be inclined to vote yes to a favorable pass to council if somebody would want to make a motion.
I'll make a motion that we give a favorable pass for election day support for Jessica Hockmeyer, the amount of $750 to council.
No, second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? I'll call for the vote. All those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. And that did pass unanimously.
All right, thank you so
Thank you,
much.
Cindy.
Appreciate it.
Circling back, we'll go to Matt Shipman for the attorney's report.
The only real things that I have to report on are, again, like normal, they're on the agenda for later. I did review the INDOT resolution and that seems perfectly fine. And I did look at the exemption certificate that Kimi had for, which is just so we don't have to pay taxes on, and that's also seems completely fine. So unless you guys have questions for me, I don't have anything else
Any questions for Matt?
to report.
I don't.
All right, thank you, Matt.
Yep.
Next up is the certificate of compliance.
Which that's just something that we get every year that we have to send in for insurance. And it's usually the chair signs it, so I know Georgia signed these in the past.
And this is for the bond on the existing bonds on this building. Has everyone had a chance to review this?
So it's the same every single
Exact
year,
same.
exactly the
Yep.
same. Okay, I'll make a motion that we approve the certificate of compliance.
No, second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. Opposed, the same, and that passed unanimously. The next item on the agenda is the 2023 holiday schedule. And I'll just add that the reason this is coming up so early in the year, I think, is because the court system is a little bit backed up and they're looking to start scheduling their court days in 2023. And they've asked that we approve this schedule early. And I will say, after reviewing, I did just have one concern with the proposal, and that is that July 3rd is being requested. And it's not that I'm not all for time off. I just didn't understand why we would give the 3rd and the 4th when that's not normal, not typical.
And with those, I just looked previous years. I pulled all the way from 2012 through current just to see how it was done in the past on non-election years. And that's the way it's been done. So we just kind of move forward with.
Can you offer an explanation why it's
I'm
been
sorry, you
done
said
that way?
non-election years, so, Okay.
I spoke to the,
okay, so to make up a
clerk.
holiday,
Yeah, because they said that we don't close the county for like city elections. So with that, I went back and reviewed how it's been done in the past. I can't verify for 2012, I wasn't here. It's just always how it had been done, averaging, the 14 paid holidays. So
And that's just foreign to me. 14 is more than what I'm used to seeing. I'm used to seeing 12. So, maybe I have a skewed view on that. I don't know, but I'm just not, I'm used to seeing 12 paid holidays a year.
so, you said going back about a decade, this is how it's always just to make up, okay, because typically it would be, so that makes up for one day, correct?
The
Because of
other-
the primary and then the general.
and sometimes they have like Good Friday on there or Easter, depending on how it is. And yeah, from 2012 through to the last year that you guys approved, there was 1 year where you guys had 16. I think that was back in 2012. And then every year except for 2 or 3, I do believe it was, had 13 paid holidays. So again, just kind of looked at how it was done in the past and let's do with that.
And I think we've always tried to keep it to at least 13 or a maximum of 13.
And this proposal is 14
Right.
Correct.
because it also includes December 26th because Christmas falls on a Monday.
Right.
I could go back and forth on that one. I'm fine with it. I mean, Christmas is an important holiday. They're all important. I'm not taking anything away from the others, but to me, it would make more sense if Christmas Eve were on a Monday and Christmas Day were on a Tuesday, then I would say approve them both. But when Christmas Eve is on a Sunday and Christmas Day is on a Monday, I would say why would you approve the 26th? You could take PTO if you wanted additional days off. I'll compromise on that one, but I can't compromise on July 3rd.
So that's new information to me that that's what we've done in the last decade. So with that being said, I don't want to, and it is July 4th, that is a very important holiday. And since they're losing 2 holidays and we're replacing one, I'm okay with July 3rd with the new information. With that being what we've done, and I think our employees deserve time with their family, and they're never going to get rich working for the government. So I think it's important for you guys to get the holidays that we can give you.
So you're saying you would like to keep the.
Yes,
July-
I'm okay with the way it's with what the auditor has presented.
I kind of agree with Chad on this, that we need to, July 3rd, it just doesn't make sense as being a holiday. I can see the Christmas, for me, that's not an issue, but I'd make a motion that we approve the holiday schedule for 2023 and not including the July 3rd.
I have a motion. Do I have a second? I will second the motion. Any further discussion? I'll call for a vote. All those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand, and opposed the same. Please note that passed 2-1.
And that will affect the 4 and 2 schedule. I can't tell you how yet because they do their own. I send it over to Jody and she reviews it. So I will make note that I'll remove the July 3rd, but I don't know what day they will want removed from their 4 and 2 schedule. So I can bring that back next time and let you guys know.
Okay. Next item on the agenda is the INDOT Docusign resolution. And this is for, I believe, is there anyone here to speak to this, to say what this is for? No, I'll recognize Cammie Hippenhammer from the audience.
So this is
part of bridge inspections that require someone.
And that jogged my memory. This, just to confirm, this is so ERI can get started on bridge inspections in March. Got it.
And Matt, we do the same one every single year. It's just so one of us can sign it.
Annual.
Yeah, it's an
Okay.
annual part of the bridge inspection contract. It seems like we do it
I think we do it
all at
annually.
the same time though, typically. Maybe we forgot to.
I think the contracts are 4 years, right?
I think
For a
it's
bridge
really
inspection.
close by INDOT.
The rule is, or
The DocuSign.
the Docusign is. I kind of thought that I had seen that too, but
I do vaguely remember, and I don't see Jenny Stevenson here, but I do vaguely remember her stating that this was a new requirement that allows for ERI or whoever our contract is with to do the bridge inspections. So I've reviewed it, and I mean, it did take a minute to jog my memory, but this is what that stems from. We had a call with ERI before, and they said, you know, really it's a liability for everyone if we start without having this new requirement signed.
I'll make a motion that we approve. What's the resolution number for this?
The 2022-01.
Resolution number 2022-01.
And I'll second that.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. And oppose the same, and that passes unanimously. Okay, next item on the agenda is the exemption certificate for state of local government. This is a fuel tax exemption from Ag Plus. I assume there will, I mean, we approved bids from United Oil and maybe Petroleum Traders. I don't recall right now, but I assume that we'll see them from them as well at some point.
I think historically Ag Plus has been the only one who has asked for this.
Okay,
it's probably just a matter of what their internal policies are as to whether they need them every year for
Sure.
audit purposes. Maybe United Oil maybe doesn't get audited or doesn't care. They have it on file, so they don't ask for it every year. We're not paying taxes, I'm assuming, on any of them, so that's the important part.
gotcha.
I'd make a motion that we approve the exemption certificate for Ag Plus.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. And that passed unanimously. Just for the record, this only requires one signature. Next, we'll go to, let's do Scott Wagner with the annual report.
Good afternoon. You should have received an email from me. My printer just got working just now before I came down here, so I wasn't able to have any hard copies for anything. Just wanted to let you know, give you a copy of the end of year report there. Some highlights from this last year, as you can see, in immunizations, over 10,000 shots this last year. You can see the amounts from Moderna and Pfizer, so quite a bit for our county. Also, As predicted, you're going to see a rise increase of overdoses and mental health issues from the last 2 years. Luckily, now that the COVID has gone down, Carly is able to get into the schools again. She had gone to after-school programs the last 2 years because we were able to get in schools, but now we're going to do both of those. So we're going to be able to be outreach in the community a lot more effectively now that COVID's down. So lots and lots of things. You can see lots of restaurants opened up and are opening up in Columbia City as we grow. It's a big change for us. And you can see that Mike's inspections for weights and measures have increased, as well as now bringing on Danielle the last 3 months of last year for breastfeeding. She's already going into the hospitals every week. So we are getting outreach in the community quite a bit. It's just not food inspections and septic systems anymore for the health department. We have a huge outreach into our community. And Ron, Carly, if you have any questions for her regarding all the things that she does, she's got about 10 committees and task force that she's on, and lots of people that report to her to get up all of our data. Plus she keeps our social media going online, which is really wonderful because that's how we reach a lot of people nowadays. How many people we have on Facebook and Twitter? 3,000-4,000? Yeah, so really great. So, any questions for me at all? Any overall health department questions? We have moved into the new space. We are up, most of us are up and running with computers today. We've had a couple customers. It'll probably take about a week for us to get smooth with everything, but it seems to be going well at this time.
Good.
Well, thank you.
Welcome back, Carly. We're glad to have you.
Anything to add? Okay. Thanks.
Thanks,
Thank
Scott.
you.
Next up, Katy Fry from our highway department.
Good morning, or afternoon, I guess. It's 1 o'clock. Katy Fry, Director of the Highway Department. I want to just first and foremost point out that this is not a request for any kind of additional funding. I am discussing with you today just basically your support in purchasing of a new piece of equipment for the Highway Department. We do already have this funding in our budget. It's more or less your support to spend it, and also with the amount of money that we will have left in the funding or in the fund that we have, if we do have something occur later in the year, that we would also have your support in possibly potentially going to the council if we need to ask for additional funding for equipment. And that would mean that we have a total loss of something else. So we're hoping that that doesn't happen. But what we are hoping to purchase is an additional total patcher, which we use for the repairing of the roads. It can be used for numerous things, for cracking potholes. We can use it for sealing also, so we don't have to contract that out as far as crack sealing. But it's a piece of equipment that we can generate an equal amount of cold patch material for about half the cost of. So with the total patcher, it has a 250-gallon tank on it. It has a liquid emulsion material in it that we blend with aggregate material. We can generate 20 ton of patch material in one 250-gallon tank of our emulsion. And we actually, if we have one crew out all day, we can get through 2 tanks of that. So really, we would be able to pay for the machine itself in about 48 days. In the amount of money that we would be saving utilizing the total patcher over using cold mix. The cold mix is about $74 a ton. So that means 20 ton is going to be $1,480 versus if we were to use the total patcher, it's $653.60 per load. So we're saving about $826.40 by utilizing that per day over using cold mix. It's actually a better longevity wise as well, more of a permanent fix. So the total of the purchase would be $80,000.30. We do currently have that in our funding, which after spending that amount out of our equipment budget would leave us remaining with $19,000. So like I said, if we were to have a total loss on something else, it would be a potential that we would need to ask for additional funding. But as it plans right now, that we don't have anything else in the books to look purchasing for this year. if you have any questions about the equipment at all or the process.
I think anybody who lives in the county can tell that the winter was not kind to our roads. And the total patcher that we currently have is on its last leg. So our highway director, Katie, is just looking ahead so we can get our roads to be safe for all of our residents. And as she stated, she's got the money for it, but if something were to break down, say 6 months from now, and she wouldn't have the money for something they would desperately need for the highway department, then she may come back. Have to come back for additional funding, but I think, what did they say? It was like a 7% inflation if we wait another year. So
7.5% inflation is what they're looking at per year, if not more in the coming years, but from this year to next year, almost 7.5%.
Yep. So we could, the information does say that we could basically buy now and pay later, but we'd have to pay interest, which we don't want to do that. We want to get it for the lowest cost possible. And we don't want to wait a whole nother year because obviously we'll have to pay that inflated price. So, yeah, I don't think she needs any sort of motion or anything because it's already in her budget, just kind of an FYI.
Yeah.
So,
And the current patcher that we have, the engine that's on it is rated for about 10,000 hours and we're at 8,000 right now. So the manufacturer, we talked to them and they said that we could probably make it through another 5 years. But we're hoping to kind of help the longevity of that piece of equipment a little bit by giving it a rest during the summer hours and utilizing the new patcher to make that last a little bit longer.
I got a question. Do you have a larger emulsion tank that you fill out of?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. We go and we go to Asphalt Materials and I believe it's Pearston, and we fill that larger tank and then we are able to then fill the smaller tank out of that one.
Well, thank you. I mean, you have my support if something comes up later on that you need help with. I mean, I think it makes sense to do and I support it.
That's good.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Next up on the agenda is payroll and accounts payable claims. I did review those this morning. I found no issues. I will make note that we're making a payment out of the commissioner budget for Baker Tilly in hopes that we will be able to utilize ARP to pay for that since we contracted with Baker Tilly to help us guide us through that process with the ARP funds and to do our 5-year financial plan. And so that's just something that we'll have to ask council. We don't have time to ask them this month because we didn't get on the agenda soon enough, but we will go to their April meeting and ask for that money to be transferred back to our budget and from the ARP funds.
And I do have a request. So we have Dasa who does our consulting for us to get money back for 40 expenses and claims.
Yep.
We do need to have individual motions if we can for payroll and accounts payable claims. I know recently we've done a motion for both. They need to be separate. So if we can do that from here on out, that way we can get better money back from them.
That's interesting. So we can't be reimbursed if there's a motion for approving
all in
payroll and accounts payable
Yeah,
in
they
one.
have to be separate.
Interesting. It doesn't sound right, does it, Matt?
We've never done it that way before.
They've always been separate up until recently.
Yeah, I started making motions last year. I'm like, why are we doing this separate? We could do it in one fell swoop.
It's just a way to make sure they can get all of the, because they have to go through and read minutes. So if there's only one motion, they can only give credit for one. It's weird how you explained it, but it's-
Okay.
Get more money back to the county.
All
I'll
right.
make a motion that we approve payroll.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second to approve payroll. I'll call for the vote. All those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. And opposed, the same.
I'll make a motion that we approve accounts payable claims.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve accounts payable. I'll call for the vote. All those in favor signify by raising your right hand.
Who's this?
For both for accounts payable. Last item on our agenda is the previous meeting minutes approval. Has everyone had a chance to review the Feb 18, 2022 meeting minutes?
I'll make a motion that we approve the February 18th, 2022 meeting minutes.
And I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? I'll call for the vote. All those in favor, please signify by raising the right hand. Auditor, do you have anything to add? Is there anything from the general public? Anyone in the public would like to provide comment? Concern? Hearing none. Commissioner Schrum,
Nothing.
Commissioner Green,
I have nothing.
and I have nothing to add, so I will adjourn the meeting.